Hello there.
Hi, Bwipo. This is Martin from Strafe
How you
Esports.
doing?
How are you doing? Um, so
I'm doing well, thank you.
obviously, a tough loss, a tough series, but you guys were looking great in game two there. So I want to ask, how were nerves coming into the series? Did the atmosphere around the team feel any different, with it being the last day of the season and you're fighting for second place?
I think a little bit. It's definitely how do I say this? It's an important match for that momentum. I think things were a little bit different, but I'm happy that I'm happy that we played this way on stage. I think that it's important to be reminded what it looks like when you're not aligned as a team and you're not really grouping and finding the right angles. Basically, we weren't on the same page,
Right?
and I think that that's going to help us. Like, this reminder is going to help us right before playoffs, which is probably the best time you can get this kind of reality check. Sometimes you get it during playoffs, but if you can get it before, that's nice. So I think we were riding off a pretty good high. We hadn't lost an LCS. Our scrims were going great. Everything. So this is like a really good moment to lose, because it's like I mentioned right before playoffs. So I'm not all too sad about the fact that we lost. I didn't play my best game, but you know what? I can say with confidence and pride, played like myself.
Yeah, for sure. So do you think if you had to face Cloud9 again come LCS Championship, do you think it would go differently?
Well, we're definitely not getting 2-0'd or 3-0'd, not happening. So definitely, yeah, it would go very differently.
All right, cool. Like the confidence. Um, well, how important do you think the difference between second and third place for the first round play of bye? How important do you think that is?
I mean, obviously, if you feel like they're the favorite for winning, being able to qualify immediately to Worlds is always, it's a relief. Like I've played a few best of fives where it determines whether or not you go to Worlds or not, and as much as people, you know, how do I say this? Like, as much as winning the championship matters, there's a shitload of stress in that specific best of five. That best of five, avoiding that best of five is a huge win. So if you get the bye and then you go straight to the top three, so you don't have to worry about missing Worlds. I do think it matters because at the end of the day, the difference between making Worlds and not making Worlds is, in my opinion, larger than winning the split or losing in finals or quarter semis. I guess, yeah, losing finals or semifinals. Because at the end of the day, if you make it the Worlds, regardless, you're still going to be playing professional for at least 2 months. If
Yeah,
you don't, you're going home.
yeah,
So a huge difference in my opinion. Whereas whether you win the LCS or not, it's a huge achievement. I don't want to downplay winning the LCS. I just, from the humans, from the human experience I've had, like as a person, sorry, not the human, as a person rather than a player, there's such a big difference between participating in a world championship event and not going. There's so much learning, so much. You get to play against the best competition in the world, right? So it gives you so much opportunity to learn and grow as a player and also as a person, because usually it's stressful as hell. So not making it to Worlds and making it to Worlds, very big difference. Therefore, I will have to say I would have liked to be able to have the bye and then win that best of five, because then at least you know for a fact you're going to Worlds.
yeah. I think a lot of players would probably agree with you. I think league players in specific, you kind of play to go to Worlds, right? So.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, TL, C9, and Fly have looked like the top three teams in the LCS pretty much all season long. Do you think do you think the three world spots for the LCS are kind of locked in, or do you think there are some teams out there that could surprise?
I think first and foremost, we're going to have to look at the playoffs patch. I think it's really, really important to look at the playoffs patch because right now, 80 carries mid, Corki, Zeri, Lucian, like everything's getting played mid. Riot has stated that they want to nerf that again. So suddenly, if a team is really riding on their success off playing 80 mids, and I don't think the top three teams are doing that, but maybe one of the, bottom three teams that are still playing playoffs, right? The top six. Maybe there's a team there that, looking at Dignitas, maybe Jensen being able to play his Azir and his Oriana again is going to do them a huge favor, right? So you always have to look out for those teams that were maybe thanks to the patch notes changes because you're playing on a different patch in playoffs. suddenly new meta becomes available, and a player that may not have had a huge impact suddenly becomes like really, really like impactful, right? Like maybe it's going to be a tank top, a control mage meta, right? Really depends on how aggressively Riot makes changes into the playoffs patch coming in. But that's the only way I can hype up all the other teams. That's the most I can do. I do
All
think
right,
we're still the top
you're doing
three.
your best. I get it.
Yeah.
You don't wanna you wanna sound humble. Okay. So I want to ask. Obviously, Thanatos was very hyped up coming into the league, coming from
Mhm.
LCK Challengers. Now, having just played against him on stage, how do you feel about him as a player? Do you think maybe he's got a ways to go still, or do you think he's up there with the top
I
dogs?
mean, he obviously still has a ways to go. I think that all players that are rookies have a ways to go. He's obviously more than capable of handling his own, and I think he has a lot of talent. He's a strong player individually. For me, um, I think he plays the laning phase really well. I think he plays his characters very well, and I think that's the baseline you need for being a successful professional player. I think once he can build the confidence in order to lead his team, I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with. But as of right now, and this is my opinion, and obviously I'm not 100% sure how their team dynamic works. It feels like if he were to be the one to be in a position to progress the game, he would not be able to lead his team to do that, right?
Right.
Um, but he's a very well-rounded player outside of that, and obviously he's a rookie, so you need some time and confidence and build some trust between everyone where he can comfortably play into that role. It took me a while too,
Yep.
2018. It took
Sure.
me practically that whole year, and I went the whole distance. I played so much professional league in that year, and even then, I wasn't really that person until very much at the end of the year, and I think that's normal for a rookie. So basically, is he at the top? I don't think you can say that he's at a caliber of someone like Impact, for example. However, he has the I lost the word I was going to use.
No.
He has like the basics, not the basics. He has the groundwork for it. He has
The
the foundation.
fundamentals. Right. There you go.
He has the foundation of being a great player, and I think that if he can, together with his coaching staff and as well with the rest of his team, um, come together and really, be that person in the games where you have to be, because I think that that's a hallmark of a great league team where regardless of who gets ahead on your team, or maybe a specific player gets put behind, the others will be there to pick up for that team. And I think that right now, um, if he were to be in a good position and the other players on his team were not, that team would not find a way to win. That's how I feel. That's normal. He's a rookie. I'm just letting you know. That's my opinion on him,
No,
more in depth.
definitely. It's hard to
He's great
come
though.
into the league
He,
and just carry everyone, right? But yeah, a good
exactly.
start.
Yeah. Especially on already a well-established team with well-established players, like he needs to find some
Yeah.
time to, grow and then be able to lead the game as well with the rest of his team. They will need that at Worlds, absolutely. C9's done a fantastic job over the course of their organization to make sure that rookies can grow into that role.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be really important for them to find success beyond the LCS and also winning the championship. I do think TL is a really strong team that can play through all 5 roles at this point, and they can definitely have a huge impact, each individual player on their team. So I find that that's going to be really important for us as well as for C9 if we want to compete to
Yeah.
take down the reigning champions.
Right. Right. To sort of catch up. So can I sort of quickly just get your thoughts, get your insights on the thought process behind the Nautilus pick?
Well, not too much, it's it is a, how do I put this?
No, no, sorry.
It is a FlyQuest specific draft, right? No one else has done it, but yeah, I mean, what's the thoughts on it? I don't know. I'm really confident in laning on tanks, and Nautilus is a tank, so I can blind pick it top. I don't care.
Sure, sure, like it. Yeah. Now you were just talking about TL and how good they are. Obviously, they just achieved the first undefeated season in the LCS. Now,
Mhm.
would you say that this Team Liquid is the best team that the LCS has ever seen?
Yeah, I think they're up there. I don't know. I didn't play MSI 2019, so I didn't get a feeling for their highs. Right, I wasn't there when they competed for an MSI championship, right? And that's when they were top 2 in the world. So now they played MSI and they were top 3.
Yep.
Were they, or top 4? Top 4,
Top
I
four
think. They lost to
was,
G2,
yeah.
and then G2 was third. Yes, so they're top 4. So the format's also changed, obviously. So this one is a little bit more honest in terms of rating. Yeah, you have to go through everyone. You can't just like, skip one side of the bracket and like on the other side of the bracket there's some, scary teams.
Yeah.
And your side is easier, so you can't quite do that. But yeah, I mean that's basically my opinion. Is like I definitely see them being up there. The question it really just is, was that 2019 variant at MSI better than their current form? Because I think that would that's how I like compare it, right? 2024 MSI to 2019 MSI. I don't really look at a team of like I don't assume the team maintains that form unless they also perform this well at the next international. So, for example, before I can say that this iteration of this roster is better than the one from 2019, they would have to have a similar performance at the World Championship. Now, obviously, we got to watch the EWC, so there's an extra bit of international play there that makes me a little more biased towards this year's Team Liquid. But once they play the World Championship, which I'm sure they're going to do great at, I do think they're a great team. I think I will be able to say with confidence they are the best team that Team Liquid has put up. But you never know. Sometimes the World Championship
time will tell.
Just doesn't go your way.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Team Liquid, I'm sure you've heard all of APA's talk on the level of the LEC and the level of the LCS. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with him that the LCS just looks a touch above the LEC right now? If say Fly were to face off against G2 or Fnatic, how do you think you guys would do?
I mean, first and foremost, I agree with him. And second, I think that kind of individual player skill always shown through when it comes to LCS versus LEC. I feel like the players are always stronger individually, which is why a lot of them get imported to NA and not the other way around. But that has diminished from what I can tell. And not only that, they still rely on it. I don't feel like their macro is like really tight and like really solid macro. I think G2 tried to keep it at that standard for a long time, but they weren't able to. I feel like maybe the rest of the region weighed them down. I don't know, but yeah, they're just not that. They're not like that Gen G level of like tight macro gameplay. If you know what I mean, like there's no holes. Yep. You have to really take a fight that they agree to take to beat them, or you have to find a really huge lead somewhere that is like not supposed to happen. I don't feel that way in the best teams in the LEC. I feel like you can definitely make picks. There's some holes in the gameplay from what I can tell. I haven't watched in depth, but basically that's the feeling I get. As they're relying too much on their star power, and their star power is not quite what it used to be. But obviously I'm biased. I used to be one of those guys, so.
Yeah, that's very true. All right.
Just the feeling I get watching.
That's all the questions I have for you today, Bwipo. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Best of luck at the LCS Championship.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Take care.
Take care.